Hello everyone and welcome back to another tutorial on how to build a house in Blender. So basically in this tutorial we've left off from the window modeling tutorial. As you can see, we have already this windows modeled right there. So I'm just gonna go and do a file save as, and this is going to be our version 4. So in this tutorial we're going to be bridging some gaps around the doors. We'll be modeling the beams. There are lots of beams in the HDB houses, and so we'll be closing up all these gaps here and there around the doors, and we are going to start with the first door, which is the bedroom door. So like before, I'm going to do a Shift A, create a measuring cube, my favorite style of modeling. Just gonna stick it here for now. Just gonna press N to open this, and based on my calculations it is actually 0.45 meters. So this is actually the height where the door bridge is. I don't even know what to call this, but let's call this the door bridge for now. So I'm just gonna snap it over here, just and bring it out in the y-axis slightly. So what's going to happen now, I'm just going to select this entire perimeter of the house, and I'm going to go into edit mode, and I'm going to create an edge loop that will match towards our measuring cube. So we have our edge loop created, and I'm just going to do a hold down the control button and snap to our measuring cube. And basically that's it. So we know that we're going to have to bridge all these gaps very soon. So I'm just going to get out of the edit mode and I'm going to delete our measuring cube, but I'm going to jump back into edit mode again. And as you can see, we have this faces to delete. So let's press 3 to go into face mode. Select this guy and this guy. Oops, this one. You gotta be really careful when you're selecting stuff. It's very common to actually make mistakes and accidentally delete something you wrongly selected, so don't be too hard on yourself. Alright, I'm going to press X to delete, and I'm going to select faces, and basically I'm going to go back into the edge mode by pressing 2, and I'm just going to select the adjacent edges and press F to fill it. So we're going to do the same across the entire bridge. Alright, we're done. So now for your own homework, you're gonna have to do this for the next bedroom, which is the bedroom 2. You're gonna do this for the main bedroom and the 2 toilets. So we're just gonna go really quickly over this one in the video. Just gonna fast forward it. Okay, so as you may have noticed, we forgot to actually model the door for the main bedroom. So we're just gonna do it really quickly right now. I'm gonna jump into the top view, and while in the edit mode, I'm just gonna create an edge loop here, and I'm gonna create an edge loop here, and I'm gonna do the same thing over here on this side. Edge loop. Alright, and I'm gonna just snap it to this vertex here. I'm gonna create one more here and snap it to this vertex to make sure they're the same. Alright, then now I'm just going to go into the face mode and delete the faces and merge them appropriately. Okay, so we are done with the door bridges for the toilets and the bedrooms. And now we are moving on to this area here, which is actually the kitchen bridge. So another thing you may have noticed as well, we do not have an edge loop on the other side of the kitchen bridge. So we're just going to add it really quickly. Control R, and then I'm going to snap it to this guy here to make sure they're the same height. And then I'm just going to face mode and do the same thing again, deleting the faces, go into edge mode and bridging the gaps. Alright, so we are done with all the bridges, and I'm going to go quickly to this bomb shelter right here. So for the bomb shelter, it's actually a slightly different measurement. So I'm just going to go out into the object mode really quickly and create another measuring cube, my favorite stuff. And for this measuring cube, okay, I'm just going to make this smaller slightly. I'm just going to input the number 0.52 meters, and then I'm just going to control and snap it to the top of the bomb shelter area. And the same thing, I'm just going to select our perimeter wall and create an edge loop and snap it to my measuring cube bottom. So as you can see, this whole thing is in line, and we're going to do the same thing. Going to go into face mode and delete the appropriate faces and bridge them. Alright, so with that done, I'm just going to hop out of this, go into object mode and delete my measuring cube since we don't need this anymore. And the last one we're going to look at is the front door, and I'm going to create another measuring cube. Snap it here really quickly. And for the Z, I'm going to enter the number 0.46 meters. According to my measurement, that's the measurement I got. So I'm just going to snap it here and move it in slightly so I can see it. And I'm going to select the outer perimeter and create an edge loop that matches to the box. And I'm going to have to create another one on the other side. Looks like I've got to create it here and snap it to the box again. Then the same process is going to happen again. We're going to select the faces, press delete, and we're going to bridge the gaps. Alright, so that is the door to our best measurements and knowledge. So let me just delete the measuring cube here. And yeah, we've got all the door bridges done. So right now we are going to just rename some of the stuff because it's gonna get crowded here really soon. So let's just rename this main plane, which is the whole perimeter, as perimeter wall. And then just gonna rename all these ones as windows. So this one is gonna be the living window. This one is the, which bedroom is this? Bedroom 3, BR03 window. This one is the BR02 window, and the last one is the main bedroom window. Okay, so with that done, now we are going to start modeling in the beams. So at this stage right now, I gotta say that I don't actually know where the actual beams are. Everything I'm going to show you right now are just estimates based on the current BTO I'm living in. And based on my estimates, I'm just going to show you roughly where I think the beams are going to be. So we're going to start with the beam across the living dining area. And we're just going to go Shift A and create a cube. And I'm just going to snap it here to help us visually so that the cube doesn't get lost in space. And what's going to happen, I'm just going to change the Z dimensions to 0.36 meters, which is actually the height of the beam that I measured. And I'm just going to bring this here. Just going to focus on this with the numpad period key. And I'm just going to bring it up here to snap to the ceiling. And I'm going to move it here to snap it this way. Then the next step, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to press tab, go into edit mode. I'm going to select the vertices mode by pressing 1, and I'm going to bring all these edges here to match to the wall here. And then go into X-ray mode. I'm going to select these 4 edges, jump out of X-ray mode, and I'm just going to move it in the Y-axis all the way across here. So this is basically what I sort of saw in my current place on where the beams are. So this one's here, and there are a few others, so we're gonna put them in right now. So I'm gonna jump out into the object mode. So the next step here, I'm just gonna select this beam, Shift D, duplicate it, and snap it to this beam over here, ceiling over here I mean, and I'm just gonna bring this in. So I'm gonna press go into the edit mode and move in these vertices to this line. Alright, then I'm just gonna jump out of the edit mode by pressing tab. And yeah, so these are actually an estimate. So in my current place, this beam actually runs across the toilet. I'm not sure if this is the case for this house. So it's really hard to say, you know, if this beam actually goes across. I have no idea. So now let's model in another beam, and based on the schematics, there's supposed to be one beam here that leads across this way. So what I'm gonna do this time, I'm just gonna create a new cube, and I'm gonna go over here and snap it here. Just gonna bring it a bit smaller. And for this beam, it's going to be 0.42 meters. Slightly different. And I'm just gonna match it here like this. And what's gonna happen now, I'm just gonna go into top view, go into the X-ray mode, and basically snap it to the beam like this. So I'm just gonna snap it here, go into the edit mode and bring the vertices in, and I'm gonna select these two guys and bring it all the way here. Right, jump back out. Yep, so I know it looks kind of weird right now. It kind of don't make sense that there's actually a beam here. In fact, this door here actually has a beam, is connected to a beam in my place, which is right above it. So I'm not really sure, you know, how this house is actually going to be built, but these are just estimates, so that's why I'm saying follow at your own peril. Alright, so anyway, let's just select all these beams here that we just created, and what we're gonna do is that we're gonna put them in a new group. We're gonna press the hotkey M for mother, and we're gonna go into new collection, and we're gonna name these beams. So if we wanted to turn on and off the beams anytime, we could just do it by the I button here. Of course, I'm very sure that over here there's going to be another beam right here. So I'm just going to go top view. I'm just going to duplicate this one. Selecting here, go back into the top view, Shift D, snap it. Alright, just going to bring this like this, snap it here. Then I'm going to go into the X-ray mode and bring this guy all the way here. Oops, alright, I'm gonna select this guy, bring him all the way here, and jump out of X-ray mode. This looks about right. So we're just gonna select this guy, and he should be created under the beams group already. So yeah, I guess that's it for now. So now I'm gonna give this a little save, quick save, Control S, and what I'm gonna do is that we're gonna model in the top lights or the top covers for the toilets. It's a standard feature in HDB bathrooms. So we're just gonna go quickly and create a cube. I'm gonna bring this immediately here. Just gonna make this a bit smaller first. And the dimensions are as follows. For the height is 0.375 meters. And then in the X, it's gonna be 0.45 meters. And what I'm gonna do now, I'm going to just select this guy, snap it to the corner here, go into edit mode, select these 4 points and bring it all the way like this. and we are done with this side, and it's actually mirrored, so we're just gonna Shift D, duplicate this, and snap it to the other side like this. Next up, we're just gonna create another one here across horizontally, and this one's going to be a bit different. So what we're going to do is that we're going to duplicate this guy and rotate it 90 degrees. So I'm going to press R, and I'm going to press Z because we're going to rotate in the Z axis, and type in 90 and enter, so that this will sort of rotate it 90 degrees in the Z axis, as you can see over here. And then I'm gonna quickly snap it here for now, but in the x-axis we have to change the numbers, and the numbers are 0.35 meters, and that's it. So we're just gonna snap it again here to the corner. You could leave it like this, but I like my stuff neater, so I'm gonna go into X-ray mode, make sure these 4 vertices are selected, and bring them in, locking it to the axis and bring it in like this. Okay, so I'm just gonna go out of the edit mode and duplicate this guy, snap it here, go back into edit mode and extend it all the way to this side, and we're done. So these are actually the toilet covers in the standard HDB flats. So we're actually gonna select all of them. So as you can see over here as well, I'm gonna press M again, new collection, and I'm just gonna call this the toilet ceiling thing. Press OK, and later on we're just gonna add some lights in much further later. Alright, so I hope you like this unauthorized beam tutorial. I'm really not sure how this is really gonna look like. In fact, I believe that there's gonna be one more beam across here just by looking at the 2D drawing. I think there's gonna be one that goes all the way straight here. So you know what, I'm just gonna quickly duplicate this one and make it. So I'm just gonna go to the top view, go into the X-ray mode, and make sure that these guys are snapped accordingly. Not too worried about the outer area actually. So I'm just going to snap this one here and jump back out. And yes, this thing should already be in the beam section. And I guess I'm just going to clean this up a bit by moving this all the way in. So one thing you've been noticing is that there are some faces that have this weird interpenetration look, and you kind of want to minimize that most of the time when you're rendering. I mean, in this case it's facing upwards, so anything facing inside you kind of want to fix it. You kind of don't want it to interpenetrate, because when you actually render a picture of this, it may look weird like this. It may legitimately look like this, you know, with all weird lines, squiggly lines and all that, which is what you don't want in your rendering. Fortunately, everything here is facing upwards, which will be the ceiling, which we're going to cover the top. So as long you're in the bottom, like inside the house, and you look around in the gray shaded area and you don't see any weird, you know, horizontal vertical lines like this, you should be fine. Alright, so with that, I am going to save this file again. Of course, I'm going to make all these files available in some time. Alright, I'm just going to some itchy fingers, so I'm just going to move this like this, snap it here. Right, any more itchy fingers? Should I do any more changes? Alright, no, I'm quite happy with this now. Okay, so I'm just going to save this again, and I will see you in the next tutorial.